Welcome to the Aethelgard Cloud Forest. Forget everything you know about jungle warfare. Forget digging foxholes. Forget tracking footprints in the mud. On this planet, the ground is a myth, a rotting, sunless graveyard a kilometer below us that no human has ever seen and lived to talk about. The war here happens in the apex layer, a chaotic, dizzying ecosystem suspended 500 meters in the air, composed of tree branches wider than city streets and a dense, shifting fog that hides the drop. The enemy here didn't evolve to run, they evolved to fall with style. They are called the Aeropithecus rex or gargoyles in trooper slang. They are four-winged, leathery nightmares with echolocation instead of eyes, bone-barbed tails designed to snare prey mid-air, and jaws that unhinge to swallow a man whole. They don't hunt you, they pluck you from the sky and drag you up to their larders in the crown of the world to eat you at their leisure. Standard infantry is useless here. A marine in heavy armor is just a falling brick. That's why the Federation created the 101st Aerial Insertion Jaeger Squadron. The Sky Reapers. We don't march. We swing. We wear lightweight, reinforced polymer armor designed for aerodynamics, not impact absorption. Our lives depend on two things: the twin-turbine jump jet harness strapped to our backs, and the pneumatic harpoon gauntlets on our wrists, loaded with 500 feet of monofilament diamond wire. Our motto is simple: gravity is a suggestion. The cable is God. I am Lieutenant Vance, Air Boss of Reaper 7 Squad. Our mission was a high-altitude snatch and grab. A recon pilot had punched out 3 hours ago. His beacon was active, broadcasting from the death zone, the absolute highest canopy layer, the hunting grounds of the Alpha Gargoyles. We didn't land, we inserted at terminal velocity. We dropped from the high-atmo transport, 6 tiny specks falling through the stratosphere. The wind roar was deafening inside my helmet, the humidity instantly fogging my visor until the internal fans kicked in. Below us, the jungle looked like a solid green ocean. Reaper Squad, prepare for canopy punch in 10, 9, 8. I shouted over the comms, fighting the G-force. Remember your training. Don't fight the fall, ride it. Harpoons hot on my mark. At 200 meters above the canopy, we hit the braking thrusters. Whoosh crack. The sudden deceleration slammed us into our harnesses as blue fire erupted from our packs, slowing our descent from pancake to survivable collision. We punched through the upper layer of leaves, a blinding chaos of green and snapping branches. Mark. Deploy grapples. I yelled. 6 pneumatic thump sounds fired in unison. My wrist jerked violently as the titanium spear tip buried itself into a massive, moss-slicked branch 50 meters away. The monofilament line went taut, humming with tension. I swung in a wide, sickening arc, the abyss opening up below my boots. The sense of vertigo on Aethelgard never leaves you. You are always one failed anchor away from the longest fall of your life. We landed on a primary limb, a branch thick enough to park a tank on, covered in a foot of slippery, bioluminescent fungus. We detached, weapons up. We carried short-barreled, high-impact carbines loaded with explosive-tipped rounds designed to shatter bone and dense wood. Check in, I ordered, scanning the dense, foggy canopy above us. Jacks green. Jets hot. Rin green. Wire integrity 100%. Stone green. I hate this planet, LT. Save the hate for the locals, Stone. Beacon is 300 meters up and 2 clicks north. We move in swing pairs. Jax, you're with me on point. Rin, Stone, cover our 6. Watch the vertical axis. They love to drop from the blind spots. Moving through the cloud forest is an exhausting, terrifying dance. You don't walk. You wall run along massive trunks, you leap across 50-meter gaps, trusting your partner to catch you with a mid-air grapple if you miss. We moved fast, a blur of synchronized jets and swinging cables. The jungle was eerily silent. No bird calls. No wind. Just the hiss of our hydraulics and the thwip-thwip of our wires. The silence is the trap. We were crossing a void gap, an open space between 2 colossal trees, when the ambush hit. They didn't screech. The gargoyles attack in total silence, using their echolocation to map our trajectory. Contact above. Rin screamed. 3 dark shapes detached from the canopy ceiling. They didn't fly, they dove, wings tucked tight, plummeting like fleshy missiles. The lead gargoyle slammed into Stone before he could even raise his weapon. The impact knocked the wind out of him, and the creature's barbed tail whipped around his waist, snaring him. Stone. Jax roared, raising his carbine. No shot. You'll cut his wire. I yelled, firing my jets to gain altitude. The gargoyle unfurled its massive 4-panel wings, catching the air with a sickening snap, and began to haul Stone upward into the dark maze of branches. The fight went vertical instantly. This wasn't cover-based shooting, this was a 3D aerial dogfight. I thumbed my jet controls to maximum burn, rocketing upward in pursuit. I fired my offhand grapple, hooking a branch above the ascending creature, swinging myself into its path. 2 more gargoyles swooped in from the flanks trying to cut me off. They shrieked now, a high-pitched vibrating sonar pulse that rattled my teeth. "Jax, Ren, clear the bogies. I'm going for Stone," I ordered. Below me, Jax and Rin engaged in a chaotic mid-air brawl. I saw Jax wall running up a vertical trunk, firing his carbine one-handed behind him, blowing chunks of leathery wing off a pursuing gargoyle. Rin was swinging upside down, her vibro knife drawn, slashing at a creature trying to chew through her main cable. I closed the distance on Stone's captor. The creature was fast, navigating the dense branches with impossible agility. It sensed me coming. It suddenly entered a steep dive trying to shake me off. Gravity tried to black me out as we plummeted. I didn't brake. I accelerated. I lined up my shot, ignoring the screaming altitude warnings in my HUD. I fired a 3-round burst of explosive slugs. Thwack thwack thwack. The rounds impacted the gargoyle's shoulder joint. The explosions shattered the bone and tore the wing loose. The creature shrieked in pain, its flight tumbling into a chaotic spin. Its tail grip on Stone loosened. "Drop him," I roared, activating my cutter module. A superheated blade extended from my gauntlet, and I slashed the gargoyle's tail. Stone fell free, tumbling into the fog below. "My jets are fouled. I can't stabilize," he yelled over the comms. I dove past the thrashing gargoyle. I had seconds before Stone hit terminal velocity or smashed into a branch. I reached out with my left hand, firing my grapple. It missed him by inches. "Jax, anchor me," I screamed. Jax, 50 meters below, didn't hesitate. He fired his grapple, the hook slamming into my belt harness. He dug his armored boots into the tree bark, bracing himself. I reached out again, my fingers straining. This time, my grapple struck Stone's chest plate. The magnets locked on. "Got him." "Jax, pull." The line went taut with bone-jarring force. Jax groaned under the strain, his anchors tearing up the wood as he stopped the fall of 2 armored men. We swung wildly, crashing through a thick canopy of bioluminescent leaves, before finally coming to a rest dangling 50 meters under a massive branch. We regrouped on a stable limb, breathing hard. Stone was bruised but whole. "Thanks for the catch, LT, he gasped. "Don't thank me yet. We're still in the larder," I said, reloading my carbine. The noise of the fight had woken the whole colony. The radar in my HUD was filling with red contacts. Dozens of them. They were converging on our position, crawling down the trunks like giant insects, dropping from the upper canopy. "Beacon is close. 100 meters up," Rin reported, her voice tight. "We push through," I said, checking my jet fuel. 40%. No more stealth. We go loud. Full burners. If it flies, you kill it. If it's in your way, you blow it up. Let's move. We launched ourselves upward, a tight formation of roaring jets and swinging steel. We became a wrecking ball of high explosives ascending the tree. We didn't stop to aim. We fired suppressive bursts at anything that moved. Gargoyles dived at us, only to be met with a wall of explosive slugs that turned them into bloody mist. We swung from branch to branch, using the momentum to fling ourselves higher, constantly moving, never giving them a stationary target. We broke through into the apex layer. The air was thinner here, the fog clearing slightly to reveal the terrifying drop below. The branches were covered in macabre nests woven from dried vines and the bones of 1,000 unlucky creatures. In the center of the largest nest we found the pilot. He was alive, cocooned in a sticky resinous web, hanging upside down. Rin cut him down. "Jax, Stone, defensive perimeter. Hold the high ground," I ordered. As Rin began slicing the webbing, the Alpha arrived. It was double the size of the others, its pale skin scarred from 100 fights, its wingspan huge enough to blot out the dim light. It didn't dive, it hovered, using its wings to create a buffet of wind that nearly blew us off the branch. It shrieked, a sound that overloaded our audio dampeners, and charged. "Concentrate fire," I yelled. We unleashed everything we had. Carbine rounds sparked off its thick, leathery hide. It was too fast, too tough. It swatted Jax aside like a doll, sending him tumbling until his emergency wire caught him. It grabbed Stone and threw him into the trunk of the tree with bone-shattering force. It was just me and the Alpha. It lunged, its jaws unhinging to swallow my head. I didn't shoot. I jumped. I fired my jets to maximum thrust, launching myself directly into its chest. I fired both grapples point blank, the hooks burying themselves deep in its flesh. I locked the winches. I was strapped to a pissed-off dragon 500 meters in the air. The Alpha roared and went into a violent spin trying to dislodge me. The world became a nauseating blur of green and gray. I held on with one hand, drew my vibraknife with the other and started stabbing. I aimed for the wing joints, for the neck, for anything that would bleed. The creature thrashed, crashing through branches trying to scrape me off. My armor cracked. My warning lights flashed red. But I kept stabbing. Finally, I drove the blade deep into its spinal column at the base of the neck. The Alpha went rigid, its wings seizing up. We fell. Rin. Jax. Catch me. I screamed over the comms as the dead weight of the monster dragged me down into the abyss. I saw two grapple lines shoot out from the fog above. One snagged the Alpha's corpse, the other grabbed my harness. The sudden stop nearly dislocated my shoulders, but I held onto the knife buried in the beast. We hung there, suspended over the void, the dead king of the canopy dangling below me. The extraction dropship roared, and 10 minutes later, its side guns blazing to keep the remaining gargoyles at bay. We winched the pilot, the Alpha's corpse, for R&D, and ourselves into the bay. As the ramp closed and we sped away from the green hell, I slumped against the bulkhead, exhausted, battered but alive. I looked at my squad, bruised, bleeding but breathing. You know, LT, Stone mumbled, nursing a broken rib. I still hate this planet. But the view from the top wasn't bad. I looked out the viewport at the endless deadly sea of green trees below. We don't come here for the view, Stone, I said, wiping alien blood from my visor. We come here to remind the things at the top of the food chain that they can fall just like everything else. Humanity had proven the ultimate truth of the vertical nightmare. We are not birds. We have no wings. But give us enough cable, enough jet fuel, and enough sheer, stubborn refusal to die, and we will turn the sky into our own personal hunting ground. The gargoyles ruled the air for 1,000,000 years. Today the Sky Reapers serve them an eviction notice. This has been Apex Sci-Fi. If you can't fly, you'd better learn how to fall with style. If you enjoyed this dizzying aerial combat in the green hell, smash that like button, and check your harness clips. Comment below, would you rather fight a monster on the ground or 500 meters in the air? Subscribe for the next story. The canopy is clear. The drop is over.